Hi, I am Gentleman, and in this video we'll continue working in a weapon, but in this video I want to show you what are the settings in VR Grabbable, so you can know how to use those settings in order to create your own grabbables for your games. So let's get started, and as you can see we have our weapon, the weapon we was working in the last video, but I want to show you the settings in VR Grabbable. So we had 4 tabs here. We had the animation tab, and we will start with the animation tab. The first thing we see in the animation tab is the chart settings. And maybe you noticed from the preview video, but in chart settings, you can tell to VR to the kit if you want to use the same setting for both hands, or you want to use one setting for left hand and one setting for right hand. So why, maybe you can ask yourself, why I want to use a different setting for left hand or right hand? Well, in some cases it makes sense because in some objects or some weapons maybe use a different animation from left hand and right hand. In this project, in the sample design, I don't think I had this enabled, but you can encounter something like this happening, like you want a different animation for your left hand, or you want a different animation for your right hand. So that is what you want for your grabbable. You just need to use the chart settings, and in no, you need to set this to no chart settings, so you have left hand and right hand. And as you can see, we have here something interesting, that is the console. The console, maybe you are used to have a console. We had the Unity console, of course. We can see the lots, the error, and the warnings. And in this little inspector, in this little VR grabbable inspector, we had something like this. We had some warning, we had some errors. So you can know beforehand, you can know before running your game, before entering in VR mode, you can know if this VR grabbable is correctly set up, or maybe you have problems. The first thing we see in the console is a warning. It says you have missing grab animations. The default grab animation will be used. This means that you can still play your game. You can still grab things, but we will use the default grab animation because you don't have any defined animation like here. So we had as you can see, we had the chart settings. Maybe we will keep it in no, maybe just for fun. So we had the high animation. We talked about this in the last video. The high animation is just this that when you are grabbing something, instead of playing an animation, you can hide your hand. So instead of or just making an animation, your hand will be invisible, and it is worth nice for most of the games. So we can use this like now. If you want to see it, we can hit play and see what happens. So as you can see, whenever we grab the weapon, in this case, we can see that our hand is invisible while we are holding the weapon. And if we just drop the weapon, the hand will become again visible. So this is a nice feature if you want to maybe save some development time. So instead of making custom animation for every object in your game, maybe you want just to hide your hand and forget about the animations. If you want to use maybe animations, you can choose whatever animation you want, as long as this animation match the hand skeleton. So have this in mind. Maybe you want to use this say hand, or you want to use another hand. So you have this in mind that the animation needs to use the same skeleton data as the current hand. So we had a couple animation here on VR Shooter Kit, and we will use whatever animation you for fun. Okay, so as you can see, the console warning just disappear because as soon as we use an animation, it just remove the warning because you don't need the warning anymore. In this case, you can see the hand. We're applying the granada pin animation, and it looks nice actually. I think it is animation that could work for this weapon, maybe. So the next tab is the grad settings animations. Maybe this is the one that we will be spending most of our time. So the first thing we had is we had some tabs and other internal settings. We had the basic, we had the interacting, we had the input. So let's start with the basic. The basic, the first thing we see is the use distance grad. And the distance grad is something very useful and something that we see a lot in VR games. It's a little factor that let you grab objects very far away. So if we enable this and we hit play, I had my hand right here. If I point my hand, I point my hand to the weapon. I can grab the weapon. Yeah. So I think this is very cool because you can grab things very far away without need to be into place. So maybe you want to enable this for all your weapons. I think I had this enabled for all the objects in VR Kit in the sample set. So these are really nice feature. So had this. You can use this in your games. So the next thing is the grad distance. We talked about the grad distance in the past video. The grad distance is just the distance. Your hands is the distance. Your hands needs to be in far away from this object in order to start a grad intent, in order to try to grab this object. So maybe this grad distance is okay for this object, but if you are using the use grad distance feature in order to grab things very far away, maybe the grad distance itself don't need to be there. Maybe you can still use it, but maybe your players will be using the use grad distance feature. The next thing is the UD point, and UD point is a little bit special. Whenever you use the UD point, you can see that part of the settings in VR Grabbable, these settings, they use fly in flight time, you disappear. Because you cannot use the UD point feature along with the use fly in flight time. I will show you why. First thing, let's see what happens if we use the UD point. And let me try to explain what will happen. In the UD point, as you can see in the interaction, we had a grab point obviously, and the grab point is just a transform that is a way that we tell to VR to the kid what is the point we want to grab this object. So whenever you use the UD grab point, it means that this object will not move to your hand. This object will not make that movement to your hand. Let's just see what happens. So in UD grab point mode, you can see that our hand is not in the grab point itself. Actually, the weapon just stays in place, and it's like having a dynamic grab point. So this feature for most or weapons maybe don't make sense to have this, because you can as you can see, you can grab the weapon for any angle, for any space inside the grad distance. So maybe this feature just makes sense just to some special object. I think I use this in the granada pin because I want to grab this in whatever angle. But in most of our weapons, or maybe in all our weapons, this don't make sense. So let's just disable this. And whenever you disable the Grappling feature, you can see the fly in the flight time. This is very easy. This is just the time it takes to your object in order to fly from the position it is actually to your hand. So maybe we can use a really big amount like 30, like this one. So you can actually see all the time it takes to the object in order to come to my hand, because we use 30 seconds. It will take actually 30 seconds in order to travel to my hand. So maybe 5 seconds could be better for a demonstration. Let's try again. So as you can see, more faster, and in 5 seconds exactly we had our weapon in our hand. So for most of our weapons, maybe we want to get this like at a very small number. So maybe just like this is okay for most of our weapons. We want to do this very fast. We don't want the user to be noticing like, wow, this object is moving. We want to happen this very quickly. So your player will don't even notice that movement. So the next thing is the interaction settings. As you can see, we have the chart settings, and it works the same for the animation. You can use your left hand animation, you can use your right hand animation. In this case, you can use a grab point for your left hand or your right hand, or a rotation offset for your weapon. We talked a lot about this in the previous video, so I will try to cover it faster, because we already know how to work with the interaction settings. I will use the chart settings, so we have both hands, and we have the grab point, the highlight point, and we have the rotation offset. And the rotation offset, is just the rotation that is applied to the object whenever you grab this object. So we use this number right here in order to make the weapon be facing away from us. If we set this to 0, you can see this. If we set it to 0, you can see that actually the weapon is facing our direction. So we don't want the weapon to be shooting at our face. So we want the weapon shooting to the other side. I don't want to shoot in my face, so I want to use this number. So the next thing are the input settings. And the first thing we notice is the autograph feature. This is very useful too. Just imagine maybe you are making a game like maybe Beat Saber, and if you can notice in Beat Saber you have just two sabers, and these two sabers all the time is in your hands. You cannot actually drop the sabers or change your saber from hand. So the autograph like to imitate this type of behavior. So whenever you use the autograph, the object or the weapon will be all the time just a snap of your hand. So we can use the autograph and we can show a hand. In this case, I will choose the right hand. And as you can see, as soon as I start the game, the weapon is just paste or glued together to my hand. So this is useful, like I say, for games like Beat Saber, or maybe you want you use it to use just one weapon. Maybe your player you had the same weapon for all the game, so you can use the autograph to force your player in order to use this weapon and just use it. So we had the next thing, that is the grab button, and it's just the button you use in order to grab this weapon. the normal thing to use is the gray button. I don't think you need to change this, but I let this open in whatever you want to use something different. But I think the normal for all VR games is just using the gray button. And the last one in these settings are the toggle, the use toggle. And the use toggle is very useful too, because maybe you can notice that if you play this demo scene and you play around, you can feel like you feel tired, or you feel exhausted about pressing the button, because whenever you drop the button, the weapon get dropped. So you can use the use toggle, and what will this do? It works like maybe like exactly like the name. It use a toggle. You press one time for grab, and you press the second time for drop. So I will show you, but you actually need to see my hand to see what I am doing. So in this case, I click one time the button, the grip button, in order to drop the weapon, and I click one time to grab. I can drop the button without dropping the weapon, but as soon as I click the button again, I drop the weapon. So this is actually not something I can show you how it works. Maybe it's not very clear, but just try it and you will notice what happens. Remember, you press one time the grip button or whatever button you had here selected. You press one time for grabbing, and you press the second time for dropping. So the next thing are the other setting features, and the other settings are settings that are not so common but still very useful. So the first thing we had is the preserve kinematic state, and for example, you can see these weapons that looks like they are pasted together to the wall, but actually what is happening here inside is that they had a rigid body, and this rigid body is using kinematic, and whenever you drop the weapon, the kinematic state of this rigid body is changed to fails. So this object can like answer again to gravity. So if you want your object to not use gravity, or your object just to be flashing around, you can use the preserve kinematic state to yes. So let's see what happens. We had our weapon and we use the preserve kinematic state. I will use a rigid body. I will add the rigid body. And I am actually adding a rigid body because I want to use the preserve kinematic state. But if you hit play here, you can see that actually a rigid body gets into our weapon, and that is because of VR Grabbable. If you don't have a rigid body, it just include a rigid body in your game object, because you need a rigid body in order to use the VR Grabbable features. So you can add the rigid bodies if that is what you want, or VR Shooter Kit will include a rigid body for you. So we use the kinematics, so the weapon will be used in this place, and we can use the preserve kinematic state. So in this case, you can see the weapon is used like there. It is not using gravity or physics or whatever thing. So if we grab this weapon, it comes to my hand. I forget to add the rotation, but it's okay. So whenever we drop this weapon, it will just stay in that place. So you can grab it again, you can drop it, and it will stay in the place. So this is nice if you want this feature. Maybe not for a weapon, but for whatever thing you want. You can just drop your grabbable or your weapon or whatever thing, and it will stay in the place. And I think this is cool, but not something cool for a weapon. But you can still use it. The next thing we had is the use collider, and this is used for using a collider while you are grabbing or object. Maybe you want your weapon to hold you collider while you are grabbing it. I don't know, maybe you want to use a trigger collider for trigger whatever action and whatever place. So this is up to you. Maybe the normal will be to use no a collider at all while you are grabbing your weapon. The next thing we had is the grab layer and the ungrab layer, and they are very easy to understand. This means that while you are holding your weapon or your grabbable, you can use a different layer for grabbing, and you can use a different layer for ungrabbing or for dropping. And what does this mean? And why I had this like here, or how you can use this? Well, actually, this is very useful because while you are grabbing your weapon or whatever thing you are holding, maybe you don't want your weapon to be responding to collisions, or maybe you don't want your weapon to have like a collision with another thing you are grabbing. So maybe you can use maybe you want to use a layer that is used for grabbable. Maybe you can use the grabbable layer in order to ignore whatever collision you had. And in the ungrab layer, obviously in the ungrab layer, where you are dropping the object, you want this object to be responding to gravity, to collisions. You want this object to be the same again. So maybe you want a default layer or whatever thing you want. And the last thing in the other sentence is something that maybe is not something you can understand, or maybe you can understand how it works, but you can maybe not understand totally why I had this like here. So it's the ignore collider list, and whatever collider you set in this list will be ignored by the current grabbable. And why I had this? This is my link for the revolver for this weapon. Maybe you can use this in your other weapons. It actually makes a lot of sense to have these kind of things in your weapons. Because in your weapons, if I hit play, you can see that we had actually a lot of colliders in the ignore collider list. But why? So we click here, and we can see that those colliders are actually the shell colliders, actually the shell that are inside the weapon. And you don't want your weapon collider to be colliding with the shell collider, because that will be stupid, right? Because it will be awkward. It will be like catastrophic, because your weapon will start making weird movements, because it will be colliding with the shells, and you don't want this to be happening to your weapon. So this is not something for grabbables. It might be something for your weapons. You want to ignore the collision with your shells in your weapons. So it's good to know you have this like here in case you want to use it. And the last thing we had is the event stat. And actually we had just one event, but this event actually handled all cases. And why you want to use an event, or in what moment you want to use an event? Actually, you can use this event a lot in your game, because for example you get maybe a task or a mission to your player, and the mission is maybe grab a super powerful weapon that is hide in your level. So you can use you can set a listener like here, and you can listen to the grad event, and this event will send you a enumeration. Sorry, enumeration no, enumeration is another thing. It will send you an enum, and the enum had the grad value, the drop value, the grad value. So you can know actually the state of your weapon. So I will show you a little example right here. Let's see what we can do. Let's just drop it. Just I create like here. Let's say like event test. So we had our event test like here. I will use a little bit of zooming, maybe you can see better. So the first thing we need is the VR grabbable, but the VR grabbable isn't the VR to the kit namespace, and we had the VR grabbable. Okay, so we use the grabbable. We use our await method, and let's create like await or event or method that will be used by our event. So as I tell you, this let's say or this use a noun, and the noun is called grad state. So we had the state. So if you want to know whether to know whether your player is grabbing something, you can use this, and you can use the state is equal to grad state that grad. Sorry, that grad. Okay. So we can use a lot like here. So maybe cool, you grab the weapon. Okay. And in our away method, we can use the grabbable that on grad stage chain. We can use that the listener, and we use the on grad event. Use this, you can see. So let's use this script or new powerful script. Like here, let's use the VR grabbable. Let's open our load tab. So let's see what happens when we grab this weapon. So as you can see, we have the lot that is telling you, hey, you grabbed the weapon. So this is very cool. In order to create or just to create your game logic. So you want to maybe open a door whenever you player just grab maybe a key, or they found something interesting in the game. So you have this little level like here, in case you want to know the state of your or the grabbable object. So I think this everything we had to see in this video. So I think this is everything for this video. In the next video we will be using the VR weapon script in order to make this weapon to shot and to do interesting things. So see you in the next video.